Hey everybody, it's PartyElite, and today we're taking a look at some particularly interesting demos at this year's June Next Fest. I think these are well worth checking out, especially among the sea of demos that are available to play, but as always, I lean towards strategic and tactical games on this channel, whether that means turn-based tactical combat, management, simulation, grand strategy, real-time strategy, city building, or much more besides. So that's my primary focus here too. Now, if you've seen any demos that you'd like to recommend I or other viewers check out during Next Fest as well, please don't hesitate to drop those recommendations in the comments down below. But now, without any more time to waste on an introduction and with timestamps down below, let's begin. Ascenders Beyond the Peak took me by complete surprise with a very interesting premise, beautiful art and music, and some fun twists on the turn-based tactical genre. The full game looks very intriguing, and the demo gives an excellent taste of it. You play as a small but growing team of alpinists sent out looking for another expedition that's just gone missing. This being a Lovecraftian game, there's an air of darkness and uncertainty about it all, and the many expeditions of the full game will send you hunting artifacts and fighting monsters, but even without getting caught up in all that, the core gameplay systems here are just fascinating. Playing as mountain climbers introduces some key limitations and unique features. Your mountain climbers, for example, are all connected by rope. This means that they can only get so far away from each other before that rope gets too tight, forcing a level of coordinated action that other games in the genre simply have no reason to explore. Fatigue plays a key role too, slowly dropping unless you're able to get to a ledge, but ledges themselves are often unstable, only lasting for a single turn of rest. Cracks in the sheer surface can crumble to make certain regions impassable, falling rocks and avalanches can take you out, and even though you're trying to get straight up to the top when climbing, oftentimes there will be opportunities to grab some loot that'll send you on meandering paths instead, especially since this loot will let you build up your base camps to secure additional advantages, provide food for your climbers to keep them fed at said base camps, and even allow you to tackle random events in various ways with the help of, for example, crafting material. Branching paths take you from the start to the end of an expedition, permadeath can cut your team down if you don't manage their actions well, and considering each class has its unique abilities that can help overcome the mountain in specific ways, the loss of a team member can be devastating. The demo gives just a taste of all of this, but I am immediately intrigued and I cannot wait to play more. Aquapark Tycoon is a fun park management game that focuses, as the name might give away, on water parks and everything that comes with them. The game's come a very long way since the first time I came across it years ago, and the demo is a great taste of things with just a few hours worth of playtime in it, as it challenges you to pass a few simple metrics within a year of in-game time. Build up a variety of attractions to draw in enough guests, and make sure everything is clean and guests are happy to build up your park's rating too. You can opt to play without the time limit, and given the creative tools available in the demo alone, you might prefer to do exactly that as you flip through all the options across the various types of attractions, and as you unlock additional visual themes and luxury items to decorate your park too. Aquapark Tycoon actually goes a lot further than I would have expected in many ways. For one, the customization options are really through the roof, allowing you to do everything from modify the color palettes of each individual object to designing all attractions from scratch. The latter is, in fact, a necessity in the demo since all pre-made attractions are unavailable at the moment. Fortunately, the tools are all very intuitive, but despite their simplicity, you can get very creative in how you, for example, shape your pools, designate areas for different kinds of activities, decorate the spaces, and even build entry and exit points ranging from simple ladders and slides to complex, custom-designed flumes with turns and dips and, perhaps above all, safety considerations. But there are activities outside of the water to consider too, as you build up saunas and determine what aromas and music they should play to match varying guests' preferences on those fronts as well, and you can go even so far as to develop infusions that help cure guest ailments, should you go exploring and looking for what ails them. Even in this short demo, Aquapark Tycoon is showing a lot of variety and promise, and if you're a fan of management and tycoon-type games, I definitely suggest checking it out. Dungeon Settlers is an extremely intriguing combination of colony management, tactical RPG, and dungeon crawling that's just been getting more and more interesting as time has gone on. With this Next Fest demo, you're now able to experience the opening acts of this rather unforgiving fantasy game that sends you out on procedurally generated expeditions with your small band of guild members to gather resources, slay dangerous beasts, and ultimately destroy the dungeon from which all calamities come. You'll go through the tutorial, you'll be introduced to party and resource management, and you'll even get a glimpse of some of the skill trees and hiring options available to you, all while simultaneously having to build up and manage your settlement, as well as the moods and needs of the adventurers you've recruited to live and work within it. The gameplay loop is simple on paper. Your settlement is situated in safe but barren lands, so you'll need to use a nearby portal to teleport over to various more dangerous but resource-rich regions to acquire the resources they provide, hopefully escape alive, and then come back to your settlement to build it up and craft more powerful equipment to get further along the next time you head out on an adventure. These expeditions are all procedurally generated, featuring a variety of enemy types and biomes, though the demo is limited on both fronts. They feature real-time exploration and real-time combat with pause, and boy, the combat truly is brutal, asking you to manage active abilities while keeping an eye on individual character traits, moods, classes, and more. My first attempt saw an entire party wipe, despite the game warning me several times about how deadly it can be. I deserved it for going in with just wooden clubs and swords and arrows and basically no armor. Even with the option to pause and issue orders, things can get very chaotic, and I love it. Dungeon Settlers is blending some very fun ideas together, and I'm a sucker for games that push players hard to earn their successes. I can highly recommend checking it out. ZeroSpace is an upcoming classic RTS that I've been following for years now, and this Next Fest demo gives a little taste of what's to come here. Not only can you play a few missions from the campaign across a few different difficulties, but you can also engage in the game's Galactic War mode, a persistent mode where you choose between 3 factions and fight for their territorial gains on a galactic map where territory changes hands as you and countless online opponents and allies jump from planet to planet to take on a variety of mission types in both co-op or with the AI, managing resources and hero characters as well as their upgrades at a meta level, while also needing to fight along the lines of classic RTS mechanics on battlefields where you'll gather resources, build up your bases, recruit units, unlock upgrades, and go toe-to-toe with your opponents, just as you might expect. If you're a fan of the genre, I'd say the demo is well worth checking out to see what ZeroSpace is doing that feels familiar and fresh alike. Between 3 factions to choose from, heroes that serve each, and a plethora of units to see in action, there's a fair bit to keep you busy to get a feel for the game ahead of its July 20th early access release. And I have to say, ZeroSpace is looking absolutely gorgeous in the meantime, and feels very promising. Iron Nest, heavily inspired by PBKK as the devs themselves admit, looks and feels extremely interesting, and even though it doesn't look like the classic definition of a strategy or tactics game, the context and the level of things being simulated here almost makes this feel like a management or immersive sim type game. Nonetheless, if you like the kinds of stuff I cover on the channel, there's a high chance you'll enjoy this, and I can highly recommend checking out the demo. You play as a turret operator for Castile in an alternate timeline where the monarchy still holds power in 1920, and you're helping it take on a Republican uprising as it spreads across the nation. Receive orders and information from high command, cross-reference it with reports from the field, use all the information and a giant map to determine where your targets are, and then go from station to station to feed in all the information to your equipment, setting ammo type, range, elevation, and bearing, before pulling the trigger and hoping you haven't made a critical error in your calculations. As somebody who's always been somewhat fascinated by the range at which war takes place these days, Iron Nest really checks a rare box for me. There's something really interesting about the premise, and having a fully diegetic user interface where you're turning knobs and pulling levers to send death flying through the air just feels immensely interesting to me, especially when you pair it with the need to triangulate positions and act quickly to respond to evolving circumstances. I'm curious about the full game's narrative, and the demo hints at a bunch of fun features like leaderboards and challenge maps, while also leaving some equipment hidden away. I think you'll very quickly be able to tell if Iron Nest is for you or not, so I highly recommend dipping your toes in. Corsair Cove is a very exciting upcoming city building game where you lead a band of pirates marooned on an island as they're being hunted down at the end of the golden age of piracy. Full disclosure first, this game is being published by Hooded Horse, and outside of this channel, I am affiliated with them. For more information on that, you can check out the video linked in the description below. They don't influence what games I cover on the channel in any way, they just happen to publish exactly the kinds of games I like to play, and that's why I'm affiliated with them in the first place. But I like to mention this every time I cover their games, just for the sake of transparency. With that said, back to Corsair Cove. Set to release at the end of next month, this is probably one of the most unique city building and colony management games that I've seen in a very, very long time. Not just because of the pirate focus, but because of one core mechanic in particular. With limited space to build on the tiny island that you're washed up on, you need to make use of every flat surface, horizontal or otherwise. With the ability to build up cliff faces and across chasms, you need to devise unique routes to connect your buildings to ensure the smooth flow of resources, since ultimately, this is a game with some intricate production chains that need managing too. You only have access to a fraction of the game with this demo, with just the one island to play on and limited access to upgrades and buildings and ships, but that's enough to see how construction and logistics works in this unique vertical city building style, how main and side quests operate to drive the growth of your crew, and how upgrades are unlocked to improve your efficiency and give you access to more tools of the trade. It also gives you a taste of shipbuilding and exploration beyond your island, where you'll find some of these aforementioned quests and where you'll engage in combat and other events alike. Corsair Cove is shaping up to be a very interesting city building and colony management game, and the demo is well worth checking out. There you have it, folks. Steam Next Fest games that are well worth checking out this week for sure. I'll be keeping an eye out for more picks to highlight as the week goes on, and if you have any recommendations of your own, feel free to drop them in the comments below. If you found something you liked here, consider hitting the like button and letting me know down below too, but otherwise, for more strategic and tactical gaming, don't hesitate to subscribe. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly, and of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.